Hello and welcome to the next tutorial. Today we're going to be making Chichen Itza, the Chichen Itza pyramid. That's right. It is right there. Let me click out of there and yeah, well, let's just move it over there. Yep, it's pretty amazing. It doesn't have all the details and it is not an exact replica of the pyramid. It's just, pretty close rendition. It's pretty cool. I know. I've actually been there. It's pretty cool. So let's get started. All right. So we're going to start off with a very, very basic shape. We're going to start off with the cube. Cube's going to be 5 millimeters tall and 100 by 100. All right. Where did it go? Oh, yeah. Over here. 100. All right. Let's just move this out of the way because a lot of space. We need a lot of it. All right. Now, some of you are going to be tempted to try to cheat this, but it's not going to work. In fact, I'll show you why it doesn't work. So I'm going to duplicate this, move it up 5 spots, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. And I'm going to change this to 90 and 90 here as well. Notice the pattern, 10, 90. Next one should be 80, right? So I'm going to hit Control D. And what is this? 81. Why isn't it 80? Let's do the next one. That one should be 70. Then it should be, yeah, you get it, right? So that's why the shortcut does not work. So let's just keep changing all of them. And 72 should turn into 70. I know. I don't know why. It just doesn't work that way. 60. Oops, wrong one. 60. And the next one should be 50, but then we get this. And then 40. And then 30. And I believe there should be 9. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the last one I believe is 20. All right. So now, there it is. You're done. Let's go home. Just kidding. We're going to select all of them. We're going to click the letter L, and then there we have the beginning of our pyramid. Just to check the height, let's bring this back. Whoa, what did I miss? I guess we should group these over here. That way it's one piece. I'm pretty sure we're going to want to see the inside of this later, but let's check the height. Did we nail it? Did we get it right? Yeah, it's right there. All right, cool. Now, the next part is going to be the ridges. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen a picture of Chichen Itza, but it has some ridges on the very edge. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, and then I'm going to move it so it's underneath here, right? And I'm going to change that to 2. When I do that, it moves it up. Because I'm doing it from underneath, it's going to move it up. If I were to do it from up here, it would move it down. And then I'm going to increase it by 2. So this is going to be 102 by 102. All right. And honestly, it did not move it up. I don't know why. But let's go ahead and do that anyways. All right. We're good there. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Control D. And I'll try it again. This should just be 2. Did it work? Did it go up? It looks like it did. All right, so now instead of 90, I want it to be 90. Oops, 92. Enter. 92. You see where this is going, right? This is going to be 80. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to change this to 2. And then I want it to be 82. Wow, keep on doing this. If you have to fast forward, then go ahead, because I think you've seen the pattern already, right? Yeah, well, I'm going to keep on going until I get all of them. All right, that one did not go up as far as I can see. Let me see if I can. And this one should be 72. Pardon me, 72. Okay, now this one I'm going to duplicate. Go from up here, and I want that to be 2. I think that one did go up. Yes, it did. Yay. 62 and 62. Duplicate this. Again, I'm going to make that 2. Now, I tried printing this without supports, even though there's a little bit of an overhang after each level. And for the most part, it did not need supports at all. Honestly, at all. I think there was one little place that had a little bit of a stringing issue. Like, just look at, there was an extra string somewhere. But it was very small. And I got rid of it just by pulling it out. But did not need any supports for this. So I was very, very excited because you imagine having this really nice looking pyramid and then you have to get rid of the supports. Not cool. All right, almost done here. Oops, 32. Did I get that? Last one. It's like climbing the pyramids here. All right, make that 2. We're good. Now make this 22. I honestly not sure if that's okay. So there we go. It's not centered, so I'm going to select everything here, click the letter L, and just like that, all of these things are centered and we are good to go. Let me just bring this model over here to check our numbers, and everything looks good so far, right? We're good. All right, now, by far, the hardest part of making this pyramid, oh my goodness, it was so hard, is making the little tiny stairs. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need a block. This block is going to be 25 in the width by 49.21. Why is it that size? I have no idea. 49.21. Let's move it over here so you can see it better. And the height is going to be 45. 45.46. Okay, we got those numbers. 25 width, 49.21, and the height is 45.46. Okay, we got that, right? Right? I know I'm scared to do this, but you're going to need 2 other blocks. So these are going to be holes. Okay, we have 2 of these. Here are the dimensions for this one. 34 over here, 33.33 over here. Then 70 is the height. It's going to be the height for both of these, by the way. 70 is going to be the height for both of these. Again, those numbers, 34, back 33.33. Over here, it's going to be 34 as well, and 18.33. Okay, 18.33. And the height, again, 70. I'm nervous. I'm not sure if you can tell that because I've had it fail before. Okay, I'm going to group these things right here. I'm just going to group this so that way we're dealing with one object. It's going to be Control G. It is now one thing. And because I want to... How is this not one thing? What did I just select right now? Control G. Do your thing, Tinkercad. Okay, now it's... Wait, is it one thing? Okay, good. Now I'm going to trust you. Okay, here we go. We're going to align this block, this solid block, with this pyramid. So I'm going to click the letter L. I only want to align it from the front, right there. Good. Now I know that this thing is aligned. Okay, now I want these 2 things aligned. Do I? No, not yet. Okay, so here's the thing. For both of these right here, I selected both of them. I'm going to rotate them. I think it's 39 degrees. Yeah, 39 degrees. I'm going to rotate them both 39 degrees. So 39 degrees. Remember, this is the hardest part, or at least it was for me when I did it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this part right here. I want it to be at least right there, and I want it to be hanging out right there. Okay, we're good. Now I'm going to move this over. Already, you see something's off right here. You see that? It's not the right angle. It should be pretty straight on that way. So something's off already. Let's make this transparent. So I'm going to click the letter T. And you're going to see me problem solve this as we go on. I know, it's weird. So I'm going to change the angle of this one. Let's see by how much. Again, the goal is to try to be as parallel as you can to these steps. So my apologies, we're not going to go with 39 degrees. And looks like we're going to add 4. I don't know. Let's try that. I want to move it over. Do you see that? Do you see how close it is? Over here, it is touching, and up here, it is not, which tells me it needs to be more than 4. So let's try 1 more degree. I'm going to go with 5. Did 5 work? Over here, it's touching. Over here, it's not. So we're going to add another degree, which is going to make it 6 more than the previous one. And now it is touching, not quite, and not quite. I think we nailed it. So we added 6 more, I believe, to what we had before. So 39 plus 6. Wow, 45. Who knew that, right? I bet a lot of you are like, just try 45. Okay. Now, all right, I'm going to try this, but if you see me crying, do not make fun of me. I can't handle it. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to group this one here, which is currently transparent. I'm going to click the T so it won't be anymore. Actually, I need to see that. I need to see where it ends. I want this to end right here at the edge. You see that? Right there is where I want it I want this and this to be touching. So I'm going to click on this. That's pretty close. If you needed to, you could change the snap grid, which is usually behind my body, to like 0.1 or something. That way you can make smaller movements. But for right now, I like where it is. Okay, let's change this back and let's see what this looks like. Okay, I'm going to select this big cube, not the pyramid, mind you, just the big cube, and this one. And then I'm going to group, Control G. All right, not bad so far. Now let's bring this thing over here. Again, this one was rotated 45 just like the other ones. Now we do have to align this. Let's go ahead and align everything, L, and we only want to align from the front. And this is the front right here. Okay, so let's check it out. Did it go? Yep, that looks pretty even here. Now, I'm going to click the letter T, and let's see how far this goes. Right here, you want it to be a step, right? That's not a bad place to be right there. And right here, it's not bad. Okay, so here we go. Here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to group all 3 objects. This, the pyramid, and then this transparent cube, or this whole cube. All right, and group. Not bad, right? But there was a mistake, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. I'm going to undo this. I just thought of it right now. Let me undo this. And before I group everything, here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay, you guys follow along. I know this is not a typical tutorial because I'm kind of working on this as I'm teaching you, but I'm anticipating a problem. And you won't understand this right now, but you might understand it later. I'm going to duplicate this one. Control D. And then I'm going to have it go right. I'm going to select this and the pyramid and group. Okay. So now I'm just going to select this walk, like part of the staircase, and this one together. Group, and it'll make sense later. Let's see. So what you see here is where these edges used to be, right? So you can't see them. I mean, you can see them, but when you print them, you won't be able to. Okay, so like I said before, the steps are kind of hard to make. Just saying, because I've done this several times and sometimes it just doesn't work. All right, so look at this note right here. It says 0.8 back. I'll explain what that means. I think some of you already know what it means, but man, is it frustrating when it does not work. All right, let's continue with these parts right here. So I'm going to focus. I click the letter F to drag me pretty close. Now I'm going to recreate this cube right here. And let's see what the dimensions are. 20 by 20. That's pretty easy. So that means I need to change this to 1. Enter 1. And what depth is this? Is it 2? It is 2. So let's change this to 2. That way it moves forward. And there we go. This is what you need to do. And the snap grid behind me needs to be changed to 0.1. 0.1. Okay, I already did that. Now I'm 0.1 right here. So to make the steps, here's what you have to do. I know. We're going to drag this over here. I'm going to click the letter F so we can zoom in, and I want you to see something here. All right, I'm going to move the steps, or this one step, so that it is, let's see, it is at the edge. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Oh, it's sticking out a little bit. I don't want that to be sticking out a little bit, so I'm going to move that there. And how did that work? Okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do, people. Man, I really hope this works. And if not, I'll show you how to adjust it so it does work. Here's the problem. And I'm going to tell you what is most likely going to happen right now. These steps are not going to go at 45 degrees. They're going to go like slightly lower until you see no steps. Or they're going to go above the steps so that they don't actually connect. Let's find out which one it is, shall we? Let's. So I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, and drag it up. How much? How much? 1 exactly, right there. Now I'm going to, with the arrow key, I'm going to move it back, okay? And I'm going to try 8 for, just to try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you see that it's still there? You see that? That means that the next one is going to be just a little bit farther, and the next one a little bit farther, so I need to move this back so that it's not visible. That means I moved it back 1 millimeter. Yeah, I know. So that means you had to click it 10 times with the arrow. This is the moment of truth, people. This is the moment of truth. And luckily we're at a temple. So maybe this will work out for us. So I'm going to click Control D and see if it works. Already I'm seeing it stick out a little bit. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness, it worked. It worked. It's a miracle. By the way, let me remind you, I moved this one, I duplicated it, I moved it up by 1 millimeter because that's how tall it is, right? And then I moved it back 1 millimeter. Okay. So up 1, back 1, and then I just duplicated all the way up, and it's a little miracle for me. Wow. This is scary. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the issue that you may have not noticed from before that you're going to notice now. These two things are not connected, right? Right. So let me show you. Let me just show you what's going to happen. So if I click this, the whole pyramid is selected. So here's what I'm going to do. Let's get rid of these two right here. We don't need them. I'm going to select everything. Everything's currently selected. Now I'm going to hit the shift button. I'm going to hold the shift button. There it is. Not only this thing is selected, I'm going to duplicate and I'm going to rotate it 90. Why am I taking so long to say 90? Okay. Let's just group this for right now. Let's just group it. Group. Okay. Now we want to align it with the pyramid. So I selected just the pyramid right here. I'm going to click the letter L, and then before I do, click on the little black dots, I'm going to click on the pyramid so it doesn't move. So is that aligned? It is. So now I'm going to move it back. Move this back. I'm going to hit shift and then the arrow thing. All right. Let's see. How are we doing here? All right, that wasn't bad. I'm getting a little bit of a weird thing going on here. And now that I have these here, I think this entrance is too wide. Luckily, I already did this. So let me just change it on 1. Now that you have all this selected, I don't have it all selected. My bad. Let's select everything again. Sorry. Everything includes the steps because all these steps are individuals right now. I'm going to hit shift I'm going to group this. Now the width of this one right here is 20, I believe. So let me just check this. Let me just verify. Oh wait, I can't verify because it's all one group. This one's 25. So let's change this to 20. And then let's shift it over. Oh, let's just align it, right? L, align. That is better. Now I'm going to duplicate. I'm going to rotate this by 90. That was not 90. I'm going to rotate this to 90. And then I'm going to align it over here. Click those two, click the letter L, align. And now I'm going to select this one and this one. I'm going to duplicate it, or them, and then I'm going to rotate them 90 right there. And then, actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Let's make sure everything is good. All right. We're good. There's no steps that are missing. Now let's make the little house pyramid. Wow, that worked out better than I expected. So this little house pyramid right now, let's ungroup this thing. That would be a cool design right there. So I'm going to ungroup this. That way we can check out this design up here on the top. 30. I'm going to have to disagree. 30. That means it's 28. All right, so I'm going to put a box here. I'm going to make it 28 by 28. And then I'm going to move it up here by clicking on this and putting it right there. And then this one, I'm going to click the letter D so it goes straight up. And look, whoa, clicked on the wrong part. It's too big. I wonder why I have two different sizes. I don't know, but I'm going to move on because it still looks cool. So let's make it smaller. This part right here, let's make it 20 by 20. And oh, yeah, we should totally center this thing. And I'm going to click on, actually, I'm going to click on the cube. I'm sorry, the pyramid and the cube. Click the letter L on both areas. Okay, so that's centered, right? However, it needs to be just a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Let's go with 15. Click 15 there. There. Now, let's go ahead and move this out of the way. Whoa. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, is that at letter F, I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, and then I'm going to shrink it to just 2. And then I'm going to increase it by 2. So this is now going to be 17 and 17. Now I'm going to align the two, click the cube. That way it doesn't move the cube, both sides. Now, I'm not sure if you saw it, but there was 2 of these. Now, the next part is the door. Not sure if you noticed, but there was a door up here. There was, in the actual pyramid, there are 2 doors, and they're slightly different in terms of their width. So let's just go, whoa. This one is way too, right there. Okay, let's zoom in here. Now, one of them was definitely like a regular door, a little bit more narrow, right? And let's just move it up a little bit. Okay, right about there. And let's call this one the regular sized one, but let's align it, L. We don't want that one to move. There, centered. Now I'm going to double click on this one. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to rotate it 90. And this one is going to be the one that's a little bit wider. So let's make that one 8. And then let's align it. L. I'm sorry, I'm going to click on the cube, click on this, click the letter L, and then click back on the cube. Did it work? Was it aligned? It is not. So I'm going to click the letter. It's already there. Click here and I don't want that to move. So perfect. Okay, so here we have the entrance. I'm going to select both of these right now and group. Now I'm going to group everything. Okay, we are essentially done with this and group, but there's something else. If you're going to print this, this was probably going to take about, depending on your settings, I would say at least 5 hours, maybe more. So here's what I want you to, what happened here? Oh, this thing. What are you doing, this thing? We don't want you here. All right, that was weird. Let's group it again. Let's try it again. Control G. Okay, now it looks like it's grouped. Okay, so like I was saying, if you were to print this like this solidly at 5 to 6 hours, but you can minimize this by doing this simple trick. Click here to find out what it is. You're going to find the pyramid cube. Okay, drag this, and let's make this transparent so you can see what I'm talking about. A printer would have to print every single thing in here, but if you made this into a hole and then you hit Shift, well then now your options might get better, because now the printer does not have to print everything inside of here. Tell you what, let's align this thing. There, I clicked the letter L. I clicked on the little dots on the side. Now I'm going to select both of these things. See how I selected both of them? I'm going to hit the Shift button and select that. Now I deselected that one by hitting it, by clicking on it. So now I'm going to move this over to the edges. Now let's see if we can see it. Can you see? Is it protruding anywhere? It is protruding here. You know why? Because it's not aligned. So I'm going to click the letter L. There it is. There it is. Now, do you see it protruding? Yes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shrink it a little bit. I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to hit the Shift button and hold this down until you do not see anything there. All right. Now I'm going to group this. Control G. Now I'm going to click the letter T so you can see we are not missing anything in our design right here. Nothing. But when it's printing, you will see that you're going to print a lot less material. This is going to print a lot faster. Now, if you see the actual Chichen Itza temple, you'll see that there's other designs here. So if you wanted to make it more authentic, you could do that. I believe there are actually 91 steps. If you wanted to do that, good luck to you. And there are other details that you could include. Like when I first started designing this, I thought, I think it should be a little more rounded. Let me use the cube, and then let me change the steps, and then the radius and the length. And that way it'll be a little more rounded. But I thought, you know what? No, I do not need that level of detail for this thing. But if you wanted to do that, there's also a little entrance into one of these. If you want to do that, go ahead. It's called Chichen Itza. If you want to try it, you can. Feel free. It is up to you. Now in my class, please put your name on one of these sides. That way it's hidden and we know it's yours and not somebody else's if you're going to print it. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you subscribed, and have a great day.